Hi everyone, welcome to another class with me, Korrie, here once again amongst a spectacular New Zealand setting. Today's class is designed with tight hips in mind, which means the benefits will be felt by most as this mid-body joint is particularly good at building up tension. This buildup takes place over time, so today we'll slowly massage the surrounding muscles using a variety of approaches through poses and movement, eventually landing in a deep held hip stretch. If you have especially tight hips, a block may be handy. Otherwise, when you are ready, I'll meet you on your mat in a standing position. Have a great class. Getting started here at the top of your mat, take a moment to find comfort. When you're ready, palms face forward and the eyes gently shut. Starting to breathe in through the nose, feel your spine lengthen. Exhale, stay tall, soften through the body. Again, inhaling through the nose, pause as you are full. Exhale out the nose, soften where you can. Take a couple rounds of breath at your own pace, through the nose, out that same way. Elongating and slowing this process down as much as you can. With your next inhale, reach the palms all the way up overhead. They come to touch. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, come all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulder blades down the spine. Exhale, lower the hands, keep the left foot where it is and lunge the right foot back. Drop the heel so it's perpendicular to the front foot, like we're in our Warrior Two base. Draw the left hand to the instep of the left foot, and then right arm and gaze to the sky. Continue to bend deeply into the left knee, feel the hips sink deeper. With your next breath out, coming to a nice wide straddle here. Toes face the same way. Big beautiful V shape in the lower body, and the head hangs heavy here. Take what you need, adjust your stance if it's too long, if it's too intense in the inner thighs. And when you're ready, bending into the knees, lift the torso. We're going to sway from side to side. Bend deeply into the left knee, shift your weight over that direction. Inhale to center, exhale over to the right. Continue to move from left to right with your breath, inhaling to the center, exhaling to one bent knee. Feeling a shift in the hips and opening in the groin space. Going as deep only as the body allows for here, waking up the hip area. When you next find yourself over towards the right side, set up for that same pose we did on the left. Warrior Two base, deeply bent into the right knee, right hand to the instep of the right foot, and then left arm and gaze to the sky. Finding stillness as you sink the hips deeper through your exhales. And then with your next breath out, hands to frame the right foot. Stepping both feet, this time to the back of your mat for a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold and release. And then inhale to stand up, reach the arms high. Palms come to touch, exhale to heart center. Inhale again, reach the arms high. Catching on to the right wrist, fold to the left. Inhale again, reach up, switch sides, folding over to the right. Inhale, reach, lengthen. Exhale, hinge at the hips, come all the way down. Bending deeply into the right knee, right hand stays low, left arm and gaze to the sky, left leg is straight. Exhale, fold forward and switch. Bend into the left knee, right arm and gaze goes up. And exhale, come down. Switch sides again, bend to the right knee, left arm and gaze high, and again back to the other side, left knee bent, right arm and gaze up. Exhale, come down, and again switch, move at your own pace, switching from side to side, feeling the thighs lengthening with every transition. And then coming to a halfway lift once you've done that 3 rounds. Keeping the right foot where it is, step the left foot back again to that warrior two base, bent deeply into the right knee, right hand to the instep of the foot, left arm and gaze high. Start to ground into both of your feet, lift the torso up, coming into a full warrior two. Use your exhale breaths to sink deeply into the hips. Then inhale to straighten the right leg. Reach the right arm ahead, hinging at the hips. Right hand comes down, left arm and gaze up for our triangle pose. With your next exhale, turn your toes to face the same direction. Come to a wide straddle here in the center. And like we did before, bending into the knees as we sway from right to left. Exhaling to bend into one knee, shifting your weight over to the side. Inhaling to center. Again, exhaling in one direction. Play around with where your knees are relative to your ankles. Looking for that lengthening sensation in the groin, your quads, and into your glutes. Smoothly moving from right to left. When you're next at your left side, again transition to the front of the mat. Warrior two base, left arm inside the left foot, right arm and gaze to the sky. Using the support of your hand here to really sink deeply into the hips. And then grounding into the feet, your next inhale brings you up, warrior two. Exhale, sink you deeper. Next inhale, breath, straighten in the left leg. Start to hinge forward, left arm down, right arm high. A little bit of work here in the legs to keep you stable. Continuing to breathe deeply. With your next exhale, again, come to that center space, that wide straddle pose, and then option to reach for your ankles, right hand to right, left to left. Use that connection to draw your chest closer to your thighs. Feeling perhaps a stretch in the inner thighs and the hamstrings. With your next inhale, bring your hands back to center, and then we'll come into our Malasana Yogi Squat. Feet are a little wider than the hips, toes are pointing outwards, knees are bent. You begin to sink the glutes towards the earth. Your legs make somewhat of an M shape here. If the heels are lifted up, play around with your positioning first. You may be too close together with your feet. And if still you can't quite get the heels down, use a block for support underneath your sit bones today. Try to lengthen in the spine here as you exhale, sink closer to the earth with your glutes. Draw the shoulder blades back, maybe your elbows are gently pressing into your legs. Eventually you'll start to feel some work in the front sides of your feet and your shin area. We're only doing this once, really embrace this stretch. With your next exhale, bring your hands down to the mat, and then we're going to lower the knees down there too. Keep a bend into both knees. We're coming into a variation of frog pose. Maybe today you really focus on the lower body and keep the upper body lifted, hands for support. If it feels better for you to come down, start to lower your chest forward. You can even lower the chest completely down to the earth, simply focusing on the distance between both knees today. Trying to keep your hips and knees aligned here, that gives us the greatest capacity to find depth and lengthening in this pose. Just a quick visit. Stay as you continue to breathe in and out. It won't last too much longer. Next inhale, start to come out of the pose that you've taken and then meet us in a seated position. See if you can have your left foot in front of the right. ankles resting on the earth, spine is long. Big breaths in and out. We move through 3 rounds of Sophie circles in each direction. With your next exhale, draw the chest down to the right thigh, scoop it across to the left, and then inhale, sit up tall. Again, exhaling over to the right, scooping to the left as your spine stays really long. Inhale, come up. And one more time this direction. Exhale to come down. Really root those sit bones. Fold from the hips. When you're ready, inhale, come up. And if it feels all right, switch the ankles, placing the right ankle in front of the left. And then we'll start to head in the other direction, lowering the chest towards the left thigh, scoop across to the right, inhale, come up, and 2 more rounds. Exhaling, lower down, slide across, inhale, come up. Last time, down to the left, over to the right. Inhaling to sit up tall. Coming into our seated butterfly or Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet come together, knees are bent. Lengthening into the spine here with every exhale, try to drop the knees a little closer to the earth. You can play with the distance the heels are from the groin. With your next inhale, extend the left leg long and out towards the side. Right foot stays where it is. Inhale to reach the arms all the way up. Send the left hand to the left foot and arch the right arm over. Feel the right side body stretch, especially into the lower back. Keep your sit bones grounded. Exhaling to go a little bit deeper here. And then inhaling to come up. Right hand heads behind the right thigh. Right knee stays bent and low. Lift the hips. Shine them forward, arch in the spine. However this feels best for you. Don't get caught up too much with right or wrong. Just feel that curve. When you next exhale, lower the hips. And then we'll switch sides, bending into the left knee. Right leg is straight. Inhale, reach the arms up. Send the right hand towards the right foot. Arch the left arm over. Left side body stretch. Especially keeping the left side of the sit bones grounded. Every exhale sinks you a little bit deeper towards the right leg. Inhaling to come up. Left hand behind your left hip. Shine the hips forward as you lift up, curve in the back. With an exhale, return the hips to the mat. And then swivel yourself to a tabletop position, facing towards the front. Maybe you sway the hips from right to left if that feels good. Taking any other movement that feels best in your body here. Coming to your tabletop, inhale the right leg behind you. Round out into the ankle just for a moment. And then keep the hips squared, looking down. Maybe you're pointing and flexing in the foot. Exhale, tabletop position, same thing other side. Inhaling the left leg long and behind you. Hips are square. Maybe pointing and flexing in the foot. Exhaling to come down. Now eventually we'll come back to our tabletop position. You can do what we did last time again, or if your back is feeling up to it, we'll find a curve in the spine for this round. Taking what you need. When you're ready, back to your tabletop, extend the right leg out behind you and then really arch, drop the navel. Exhale, right knee to your nose. Inhale again to drop the navel, draw the right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. And again, really curve in the spine, gaze up. Exhaling, knee to nose. And then tabletop position as you exhale. Switching to the left side, same thing. Really curve in the spine. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to drop the belly, gaze up. Exhale, knee to nose. And seeing how high you can lift that left leg as you curve. Exhaling, knee to nose. And tabletop position. Stepping the right leg forward. Coming into a low lunge variation with hands still on the mat. Left arm stays and then right arm and gaze to the sky. Really focusing on keeping the right knee tucked close to the body. The left foot can be tucked or untucked, choice is yours. Exhaling, both hands come down to frame the right foot as we shift back into our half splits, keeping the hips aligned with the left knee. As you breathe out, hinging further at the hips, chest comes closer to the right thigh. Inhaling to walk yourself forward, again into that low lunge twist. Left hand stays on the mat, right arm and gaze to the sky. Find what feels best in your body with your exhales. Maybe the hips sink deeper. With your next exhale, both hands come down to frame your right foot. As you exhale, hinge back into your half splits. Just for a moment, we're moving this time. As you inhale, hinge the hips forward, hands to your hips, and really curve in your spine. Exhale, hands back down to the mat, hips backwards, half splits. Again, inhale, hinge the hips forward, hands to hips. Right knee is bent. Exhale, hands come down, straighten in the right leg, hips backwards. And again, bending into the right knee, shifting your hips ahead. Exhale, hands come down to frame the right foot as you step back into your tabletop position. Maybe moving the hips from right to left. And then we'll do the same on the other side, stepping the left foot forward, starting with that low lunge twist. Right arm stays low, left arm and gaze to the sky. Right foot can be tucked or untucked. Do your best to keep the left knee close to the body. Exhaling, your left hand comes down, framing your left foot, straighten in the left leg, hinge backwards, half splits. Pause here. As you exhale, breathe deeper and closer to the left leg. Inhale, bend into the left knee, and again come forward to the low lunge twist we've already done. Sink the hips a little bit deeper. Next, exhale, frame in the left foot, and we move like we did on the right, straightening in the left leg, hinge backwards, half splits. Inhale, bend into the knee, hands to your hips, coming forward. Exhale again, hands down, hinge backwards, straight left leg, half splits. Inhale to come forward, bend into the knee, pressing the hips forward. Exhale again to your half splits. And then one last time, coming forward, left knee is bent. Breathing out, hands to the mat, stepping back to your tabletop position. When you're ready, lowering into a child's pose position, sending the glutes towards the heels, knees as wide as they need to be today. Focusing on the weight in the lower body. Feel the stretch that's available into the hip space as we sink deeper, glutes getting closer to the heels, as your chest also sinks lower towards the mat. Eventually inhaling to come out of this posture, coming to a seat with bent knees. Bring your palms behind you, shoulders really drawn back. And then we'll sway the knees from right to left like windshield wipers. As you exhale, they head to the right. As you inhale, they come back to center. Exhaling over to the left. This is meant to reset in the hip space. And then we'll find our seated figure four starting on the right side, crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. This feels really easy in the body. Draw your torso and legs closer to each other. For a bit more space, keep that distance. It'll be a little lighter in your right hip. Focusing on the right knee heading away from the body as the left knee draws the leg closer. A flexion in the right foot keeps your knee protected. With your next exhale, uncross the leg. Knees are bent and again rebound here, swaying the knees from right to left. Getting ready to set up on the other side, crossing the left leg this time over the right thigh. And then choosing the distance your torso is from the legs. This is getting us nearer to eventually coming to a hip opening posture we will hold. If this pose here feels enough in your hips, this is where you will continue to go as we head to the right and left side 2 more times, deepening into hip stretches. Variations that come next are there if you've got space for a bit more. With your next exhale, releasing the left foot down and again finding that windshield wiping type action. As promised, coming into that deeper variation, our fire log pose, starting with the right leg on top of the left. The idea here is to get the shins on top of each other. So the right heel is just on top of the left knee. Flexion in both feet this time. You should feel a deep stretch into the right hip side. If going deeper was not part of your intention, you are again in seated figure 4 on the right thigh. In fire log, as you exhale, maybe your torso heads closer to your legs just for 1 breath out, and then inhaling to come out of this posture. Again, that reset, knees sway right to left. Just giving you a different angle to see here, setting up for fire log pose on the other side. Right shin is down, and then the left heel lands on top of the right knee, trying your best to have shins parallel. The top knee will hover higher the tighter the hips are, gradually working so that both knees can be as close to the ground as possible. The intention here is to feel the stretch on the left side. Again, if fire log was not part of your intention, you are in figure 4, seated, left leg crossed over right. Take 1 more exhale and then inhale to come out of this pose. Coming into tabletop, we'll reset. Taking a moment to round out in the hips, inhale the right leg behind you, making semicircles, just big movements. And then we're coming into our pigeon pose. So again, assess if either of those 2 poses before here felt better in your body, either figure 4 seated or fire log pose. You can take one of those, or if you're coming into pigeon, the right knee comes behind the right wrist, shin is on an angle, and the left leg is nice and long. We're holding this next pose for 2 minutes, taking the variation that works for you. No matter where you are, it's the right hip that is deeply settling in here as you close your eyes, coming back to your breath. Feeling the inhales inflate you as you breathe in through the nose, gently releasing both air and tension as you breathe out that same way. Staying focused on your breath as the mind starts to wander, bring it back to the sensation of inhales and exhales. If it starts to feel easy, see if you can sink the hips a little deeper, being mindful if you're in pigeon, not to allow the left hip to sink closer, doing your best to keep the hips right and left square to the ground. Amazing work, you're almost there. With your next inhale breath, start to come out of the posture you've taken. If you're in pigeon pose, lifting to tabletop. If you're in figure 4 or fire log, finding that windshield wiper action like we did earlier. And then choosing what you're going to do here on the left side. If you're in tabletop, rounding out like we did before, circling into the left hip, before the left knee sends down to the earth behind the left wrist, straightening out in the right leg. Making sure that the hips are square to the ground and that there's no discomfort in the left knee. When you're ready, settling the torso down to the mat, closing the eyes and returning to your breath focus. Again, honoring the body if you've taken a different posture, looking for depth where available, and comfortably and confidently spending 2 minutes focusing into your hips, allowing every exhale to feel like a gentle massage from within. When the mind starts to wander, bring it back to the breath. Inhaling through the nose. Really feel that sensation of holding the inflation in your body. And then gently and slowly exhaling out that same way. Maybe pausing and feeling that emptiness before you take your next breath. Doing amazing work here. Nearly done. With your next inhale breath from Pigeon Pose, start to lift up if it feels all right for you, swiveling onto your left hip and then swinging the feet forward. We will meet on our back side. Knees coming into the chest, interlacing the fingers. Take a moment to rock from right to left, like a massage for your lower back. And then we'll start to make circles with the legs. Knees are bent, holding onto your respective shins. Start to make great big circles, drawing the knees in towards the chest. As you exhale, inhale, push them out and away. And switching directions whenever that feels good for you. Not getting too caught up on right or wrong here, just making movements that feel good in your lower body. And we'll find a twist to round off this practice. Sending the left leg long, rest the heel on the mat, right knee stays close and towards the body. With the left hand, start to draw the right knee over towards the left side. Really peel the right hip up and off of the mat while being mindful to keep the shoulders grounded. Feel a stretch into the side of the quad, into your glutes, perhaps into your lower back. As you exhale, draw the knee a little closer to the earth. Maybe you're gazing towards the right arm. Inhaling to draw the knees back into center. Take a moment to reset. And then set up on the other side. The right leg is long, heel resting on the mat. With your right hand drawing the left knee over towards the right side. Again, allow that hip to peel off the earth, but really focus on shoulders staying square and grounded. Allow your exhale to draw the right knee closer to the ground. And then find an inhale to come back to center. Knees in towards the chest just for a moment. And then landing here in Supta Baddha Konasana, or backside butterfly, for a few rounds of breath. Drawing your palms onto your tummy. Eyes begin to close. Really drawing focus on what it feels like for the stomach to lift as you inhale. Noticing the hands soften as you exhale. With every breath out, your knees get closer to the earth, feeling the opening up in the hip space, the groin, the lower body. Big inhales, feel the hands rise. Slow exhales, gently feel them lower. Now option to stay as you are in supine butterfly. Or if your hips would like a bit of a rest here, when you're ready, allowing the legs to lengthen out long, coming into a variation of Shavasana that serves you today. Allowing the body to feel at ease, recognizing the softness in the hip space as a result of your beautiful and intentional work during today's practice. Allow yourself to embrace this final pose here for as long as you need. Thanking you for accompanying me on this journey today. Namaste.